Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection, The Rescue set. Now this is a convention exclusive, so it is technically only available on Hasbro Pulse, but I did get it at GameStop. GameStop usually gets in all the PulseCon or convention exclusives. I believe this one was a PulseCon exclusive, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. But this set is so special and so cool. It is something that I just think TVC and Black Series need more of. Just this is exactly what collecting Star Wars action figures should be. You get your little diorama, your little display, and I already did the whole duty of taking out the figures, cutting them out, and I took off the plastic piece that was on the front here, so I just got it all ready for the review. But without further ado, speaking of the review, let's get into the Rescue set review. Now, this box is absolutely huge, and it essentially doesn't fit in the frame, so I'm kind of just gonna go side by side and show everything about it. But this is the front here. You can see the Dark Trooper, Mandalorian fighting the Dark Trooper, Grogu, and Moff Gideon, and it shows the rescue set and all the characters that are included. And then here on the bottom, there really isn't a lot to go over there. Let me quickly flip this around here. I want to show the very top here. Ugh. Okay, this is really cool. We get some awesome images of what you can actually do with the set. You can have Moff Gideon stab the Dark Trooper in the head with his Beskar spear. It says the rescue set there. There you have Moff Gideon versus the Mandalorian there as well. And then lastly, we have Mandalorian talking or looking down at Grogu. This is right before he takes his helmet off. And this is my one gripe with the set. This set would have been beyond perfect if it had an unmasked Mando head. I feel like that would have just done wonders for the set. But still, with how it does come, same on the other side, it is awesome. I absolutely love this set. And like I just said, same on this side as the front. So I guess there really isn't a proper front. I guess it just kind of doesn't matter. They're both the same. But then let's just slide this out here. Take this off. So the first thing I want to show here is there is a huge bio here that reads, The Rescue Set. The Mandalorian leads a crew on a rescue mission to Moff Gideon's ship, where a garrison of Dark Troopers, the advanced droids that captured Grogu, are waiting. They decide on a plan. Once they board the cruiser, the others will lead the attack and take the bridge. The Mandalorian will follow alone, eliminate the Dark Troopers, and recover Grogu. After a brutal battle with the Dark Troopers, the Mandalorian takes on Moff Gideon and bests the Imperial. Suddenly, the Dark Troopers return to claim Grogu. They are no match, however, for a mysterious cloaked figure that emerges on board from an unidentified X-Wing. This warrior destroys the Dark Troopers, and the Mandalorian says goodbye to Grogu as he sends him off to fulfill his destiny. That is probably the best bio that Marvel Legends or Star Wars, Vintage Collection, Black Series, anything has done. That is like so thorough and goes over everything about not only the set, but kind of just the episode overall. I think this set is awesome, too, especially with all the rescue set figures that we're getting, like the Imperial Light Cruiser, Luke Skywalker, and we just got the Dark Trooper with the charging bay. But here is the actual inside. So when this is in the store, there is a plastic thing on or in front of it. I did slide that into the back there, and they are all in plastic, so you can't just take them out like this. You can see the remnants of how I cut it out. It took me like 30 minutes to get everything out of the box, and it didn't come out perfectly. There's a bit of stab marks from the knife because it was very difficult, but it was worth it because this is absolutely awesome. Don't throw this out. This is the main reason I bought this set. I mean, the figures were the main reason, obviously, but I really wanted this box to have on display with them and have them interacting in these little things. And hey, I could even put the charging bay in here or some of the other characters that appeared in this scene in here as well. But other than that, that is all I have to go over with the box, which is an essential part to go over with this. So I'm happy I took a decent amount of time on it, but here you can kind of see the plastic that I was talking about. But other than that, let's actually get into the figures now. I'm going to put this to the side. So for the Mandalorian, I think this is the best TVC Mandalorian they have done. I think that kind of goes without saying. They just really knocked everything out of the park with this. This is from the final episode, so you kind of get everything that you would want. You don't get the long rifle, and you don't get an unmasked head, but I still think this figure is absolutely amazing. You do get the spear, which I do think could have been done a little bit better. It is kind of in this really cheap looking plastic, and it does go through the Dark Trooper, so it can get slightly bent at the top there. But we'll go over that more with the Dark Trooper. Now, for the Mando himself, this is like the most updated and accurate design to the show. Now, the one thing I do want to mention, the main thing that is a little bit of a drawback on this figure, not really, but the flamethrower and the whistling birds here are very big on the figure. At least here, it sticks out more than the other side, because on the other side, you can see that you get the little head there, but you can actually take that piece off and lose it, which is kind of inevitable. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. But this piece will definitely get lost very easily, so you're going to want to keep that in mind. Keep it in a safe space. But once you get rid of that, you do get these awesome effects that you can put on Mando. So you get the whistling birds effect. You can put them right here, which that looks awesome. They're kind of all going in different directions. I do feel like they could have put a little bit of silver paint on the top there. I don't know. That might just be me, but I think that would have helped them out a lot, even though they are amazing already. And you also get the flame effect, which does go into the other side, and that just looks so cool. This is what I mean by when I say this is the best Mandalorian for TVC, especially the color scheme. The silver on it is just perfect. It is the right shade. Everything about it came out so well. And then you also do get his blaster. You get the smaller one. You don't get the long rifle like I mentioned, and you can just put that in the hand, preferably probably without the effect going, because that's just asking for disaster. But the cape here is really, really nice. It is soft goods, which is awesome. I love soft goods in TVC and Black Series. I think we need more of it. I know it is definitely a controversial topic nonetheless, but still, I really like this. It does have the kind of tattered look on the bottom, which is accurate to the show. That looks awesome, because the previous versions that we've got, like at least the snow one here, you can see that it is plastic, and well, you don't actually get that tattering effect. I don't know if this is specifically from this episode. I don't think it is, but I think that's just what it would look like. Here it looks kind of brand new, but with some snow. But anyway, the jetpack is really, really nice. It's so shiny. I love that. And you can just port it into the back. It is a little bit of a weird attachment nonetheless, just different, I guess. But it does go in the back there. And you also do get the little spot for the rifle if you do have another rifle from another Mandalorian that's come out. So you can do that if you want. But you can also, technically, if you want, you can just have the spear going through the back of the jetpack. Or, yes, the jetpack. And that looks great. That works. You definitely have to move this cape around a lot. It can get in the way of things. But other than that, this is just the perfect Mandalorian. It has essentially most of the same things that we've been used to with the other TVC Mandalorian, but just the little things here is what matters. The effects, the color, everything about it, I think, makes it the perfect TVC Mandalorian and is definitely a big draw for this set, in my opinion. But let's get on to the next figure, being Moff Gideon. So quickly before we go over the Moff Gideon, I do want to mention here that this is another reason why I really like this set, is that you do get the Darksaber, which you can give to the Mandalorian, and that looks awesome. And that's why I think this is the best version, or the best way to get the TVC Mando, because technically, if Moff Gideon wasn't included, you wouldn't get the Darksaber, but because he is, you get it, and it works with him, and it works with him. It's just, I love it. I think it's awesome to get all these characters and accessories in one set. Now, for the Moff Gideon figure, it is the exact same, essentially, as the mainline release. The only difference being the cape is soft goods. You can see the little peg there where the actual plastic cape would be attached. Now, if I have to be honest, I don't think this is the best job on a fabric cape. It looks fairly cheap, especially going around the sides. I think that's the main problem. The back also looks pretty bad, but I feel like just over time, especially, this is going to get only worse, if anything, and I feel like they could have done that a little bit better, but still, nonetheless, it isn't a huge deal, and I guess it adds to the Kenner old style feeling that your cape is going to be tattered, but that's just me justifying, which I shouldn't be, because it's not that great. And I'm going to be honest, you can take it off with these little elastic bands that are going around it. I just think there is probably a better way to go about doing a soft goods cape for him, but still, overall, it's not too big of a deal. Now, like I said, this is the same version as the previous Moff Gideon, just the cape is different. So everything here is expected, nothing too crazy. I don't have that previous version to compare it to, but looking at photos, at least, I can tell that it is the same. You do get the pistol, which you can put in his hand, and the likeness is very, very good. I do have to say, there's this little plastic piece here, which is on the seam, which I'll try to get off, but it's kind of bothering me. But other than that, this is awesome, and it does the job very, very well for the Moff Gideon. Lastly, the last thing I want to mention, though, is this red line, especially on this side, is something that I'm very amazed that Hasbro did. It goes all the way up and into the joint, the paint. So that's just an extra little detail that Hasbro, I don't think they necessarily needed to do it. I don't think it would have made the figure terrible, but because they did, it just gives an extra level of quality to, I guess, combat the cape, in my opinion. But other than that, I think that's all I have to say for the Moff Gideon. So let's quickly go over the Dark Trooper, and then let's get into the articulation for all these figures. So I don't have too much to say about the Dark Trooper, because it is exactly the same as the standard release. The only difference being the head sculpt is battle damaged, and it does allow you to put the Beskar spear in it. If I could get it in, there you go. You can see the spear just going through his head. So, little headache there, I imagine, from the spear going in the head, but you can take it out. And you do get this flame effect, which is kind of just this pliable plastic, and you could wrap around not only him, but some other figures on fire. I don't know who you would do, but it's just a cool little effect to get, and you can take it off. But I do really think they could have included, to make this set perfect, there's two things I think it needs, is a unmasked head for the Mandalorian, and I think a unbattle damaged version of the head for the Dark Trooper. I do think most people will have this head on anyway if that was included, but still, I think you get my point. You also do get an extra set of fists, just like you got with the standard release one, and you do get the blaster, which can port onto the side of the leg there, which is something that is absent on the Black Series version, and that was my main complaint with that. And it is great that it is on this, but the rest of the figure is exactly the same as the normal Dark Trooper. If you want a very in-depth review on that, go check out that video. I did a review on that. I think it was probably just about a month ago, or maybe less than that. But for the actual figure here itself, quickly, it is very, very nice. Hasbro is knocking it out of the park with all these newly sculpted Mandalorian figures for not only TVC, but also Black Series, and this is no exception at all. I love the glossy black on it. It is just very reminiscent of the Dark Trooper and very accurate, especially with all these lights on it. I think it definitely makes it pop. Other than that, you can just see all this awesome detail on it. It's all very accurate to the figure, and I don't really have any complaints with it, except that I wish it came with a extra unbattle damaged head. But other than that, I guess let's get into the articulation. Actually, before we do that, I didn't show the Grogu. Let's show the Grogu here quickly. There isn't a lot to go over. It's just the TVC Grogu with a new body, I believe, and handcuffs. Now, you can actually take the handcuffs off, which I didn't expect. So you can get him going in for a hug for Mando or something. I love that little sculpt there, but that is definitely cool nonetheless. But other than that, you can get the ball joint on the head. Nothing else really too crazy to go over there with the Grogu. But now, let's get into the articulation for all three figures. So first, I'm going to start off with the Mandalorian. Now, nothing with these three should be too surprising, but I'm still going to go over it anyway. The head does go up that much, down, side, side. It is on a ball joint, so overall, that is the amount of range that you do get with it. Now, the arms do go out that much. The shoulder pad does get in the way a bit, which isn't a huge deal, but something to be noted nonetheless. Full 360, single jointed elbows that go in a little bit more than 90. That's the same on both sides, and both hands are on a vertical hinge, so they go up that much, down that much, and full 360. Ab crunch is very good. Actually, no, it's not. What am I talking about? It doesn't go forward that much, but it does go back a decent amount, and it does have some tilt. So great movement there for a TVC figure. Can't really complain about that. And then the legs are on that TVC joint. I wish they would be on the more modern TVC joint, the kind of just black series one. I don't know what it's called. I think it might just be the ball joint. It's not on this one. It's actually, don't think it's on any. Oh yeah, it's on this figure. That type of joint on the Dark Trooper would be great to get on the Mandalorian, but nonetheless, it still works, so it goes up that much. You can go back, you can do the splits a decent amount. Just overall, a unique kind of joint that does allow for a lot of range. There is an upper thigh cut, which does go full 360, and single jointed knee also does rotate, and the ankles do go up that much, down, and ankle rocker pivot. So that is the Mandalorian's articulation. Now let's do Moff Gideon. The head does go up that much, down, side, side, full 360. Over, oh no, where did that go? I don't want to see a headless Moff Gideon. There you can see the full range of movement. Very, very good, especially for a TVC figure. Arms go out. Wow, wow, wow. That is great. Full 360. Keep in mind that rubber band is there, so just be careful when you're moving that. Single jointed elbows that go in essentially exactly 90. There's some rotation there as well. And then the hands are both on a, not a horizontal, a vertical hinge, so they go up that much, down that much, and full 360. Ab crunch goes forward that much. It's a little better than the Mandalorian. Back, side. Oh, this head comes off very easily. Yeah, that's the overall range with the ab crunch and the head. I love doing this with all the figures. Kind of, I think, is the best way to demonstrate the articulation in just one movement. Now, for the legs, it is the same style of joint as the Mandalorian. So the older TVC one does kick forward that much, does go back that much, can do the splits. Wow, that's very good. There is an upper thigh cut, single jointed knee that does also rotate, goes up, and ankles go up that much, down, and ankle rocker pivot. Okay, we're almost done here. Let's put this guy right here. Ooh, that is a zesty Moff Gideon pose. I like that. And then the Dark Trooper last is the same as the other one, but still the head does go up that much. Down, side, side, full 360. The neck joint is there as well, which does add a little bit more movement. The head does get in the way a little bit with all this extra kind of tech detail. You can also see the hole going through, which I didn't mention, but that's for the spear. But this does get in the way a little bit, but not too big of a deal. Arms do go out that much. No butterfly joint like the Black Series one. I don't even think there has been a TVC figure with butterfly joints. That will be a very interesting day when we do get that one day. But regardless, great movement on the arms for the Dark Trooper. Single jointed elbows that go in that much with essentially 90. There is rotation. The hands go up that much, down, and full 360, and it is the same style of joint on the fist as well. And then the ab crunch goes down that much, which is essentially nothing. What is going on with these ab crunches? Back, side, side, full 360. So that's the general movement you get with the figure. And then the legs do kick forward that much. Back, split, upper thigh cut, which is very, very interesting. Just how deep that goes in. I always found that interesting with this figure and the Black Series one. The ankles, not the ankles, the knees go in essentially 90. They do rotate, they go forward, and the ankles go up. No rotation there. Down, and ankle rocker pivot. So that is the articulation on all of them, and Grogu doesn't really have any articulation except, where is he? Just the head. But let's get on to some comparisons and then my final thoughts. Look at Moff Gideon. He is a fashionista. So for comparisons for the three figures, first I want to show this Mandalorian next to the Snowy Mando. The silver actually seems to be a little bit more shiny on this one, but I do think this is the perfect silver. I think it's not too dark like the previous versions, but it's not too shiny like this. Now that I'm looking at this compared to this one, this is, I think, maybe a little too shiny, which is funny because I just remember how dark the Beskar was on the previous version, and now we get too shiny. But this is what I mean when I say it's perfect. It's right in the middle for the color, but that looks great. And then here we do have the Book of Boba Fett next to Mando, which does look great. They look great together. And then we have the TVC Dark Trooper, just the single release one, which does have the normal head, but you do get that annoying little orange square on the back, which is to, I guess, make the eyes look like they are on, which is cool, I guess, but that is absent here. I kind of think they should have just not gone with that. But there you can see that they are essentially the same figure, just with a different head sculpt. I do think I might want to get a couple more of these, but I don't know. I got to slow down with the RB building. Put those back there. And then we do have Bo-Katan next to the Mandalorian and even Moff Gideon. So that looks great. Then Koska Reeves. These are kind of just all the rescue type characters. That looks great. And then lastly here, not lastly, but I have one last comparison. But here's Fennec Shan for the rescue set. I don't have TVC Cara Dune yet, which maybe one day. But this is the last thing I want to do. Not really a comparison, but more of a head swap. I want to see if this works. This is the Morak Mandalorian in disguise, and he does come with the unmasked head. Come on, work, because this will be perfect if it does. Oh, hello? Hello, please? Okay, so this is not... Oh, it fits on... Well, okay, so it fits on there. However, it's not a very good fit, but it does look perfect. That looks awesome. Yes, that's like the perfect hair length too. Not too long and no beard like the Black Series one that we got, the Unmasked Mandalorian. So this just looks great. That is definitely an option for sure, but not the greatest fit. So I'm just going to keep him with his helmet, and I'll put this back on the Morak design. But that is all I believe I have for comparisons. Put them all in frame here. So let's get on to my final thoughts on this awesome set. So for my final thoughts on this set, as you guys could probably tell throughout the video, I absolutely love this set. This is exactly what the vintage collection should be, getting these awesome little dioramas and displays from these super iconic scenes. And it's especially cool to get with such a modern Star Wars Disney project. Like, you know, we get original trilogy stuff and every now and then prequel stuff, but this is Mandalorian era, and this just looks so, so cool, especially the cardboard. The figures are great, don't get me wrong, and they are the best part, but this box is just also great to get, especially this little prison room for Grogu with the little bench. This is just awesome, and at the price point of it, exactly $100 Canadian. I can't deny that it is expensive, but I do have to say, let's add it up here. So Canadian, this will be about $20. This, I'd say, would be about $25 with all the effects and stuff, which I'll group in with Grogu. So $45, and then the Dark Trooper in Canada was $40, but you don't get the charging base, so $30. So $75 convention price, add on $15, and then the box is just awesome. So it is a little pricey, but I do think it is fairly reasonable, everything considered, and it certainly is a little bit cheaper in the US. But I think I'm going to have to give this set a 9.2 out of 10. I think the Moff Gideon cape could have been better, and I think we could have got that unmasked head and the extra head for the Dark Trooper, but other than that, this set is damn near perfect. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you let me know what you think of this set in the comments below. Are you planning on picking up? Is it as good as I say, or is it just crap? I don't think anyone will think that, but, you know, I always like hearing what you guys think. But until my next video, thank you guys so much for watching this one. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I will have a video coming up soon about that. But until my next video, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.